No, David, no?
Start again.
Hi,
Johnny.
yeah.
Yeah, where are we? We're with the.
Nunhe.
Got it.
We're going to learn tomorrow night at 7:30. We're going to start the new Perek, the new Masechta tomorrow night, because we're going to do two blot tonight. Rav Yechon. Leida Shul Rosh Chodesh Bizmano. The reason they laid out we said they put the Emurim of Rosh Chodesh halfway up the Mizbech. That was like a signal. The lunar cycle is 29 and a half days. So some months are 29-day months, and half of the months are 30-day months. So Rosh Chodesh Bizmano means the Rosh Chodesh is after the previous month is only a 29-day month. So the signal of that was that they laid out the Emurim, like we said, on the Mizbech up on the surrounding area. So the Gemara says that's not a kasha. Trei ekerei. There were two ekerim: the chazi hai chazi, the chazi mai chazi. Those that saw the fact that they did the shear prior to Shabbos, that was one signal, and this was another signal. So Meisve on Ravacha, who said that they blew shofar every time there was another musaf. So, for example, on Rosh Hashanah, where there's musaf of Rosh Hashanah, musaf of Rosh Chodesh, and if it falls on Shabbos, there's musaf of Shabbos, they would blow three different tkiyas. So just like Shabbos gets a tkiya and Rosh Chodesh gets a tkiya, kach you talking about kol musaf u'musaf, I might think you would blow for every musaf, which the Gemara is going to teach us how they learn from that you don't blow for every musaf. To yufta, Ravacha to yufta. So we knock Ravacha out of the box. Now, my Talmudah, where did they see from the words of Roshei Chodshechem this limud that you only blew one musaf? Amar Abai, Amar Kra, uv Roshei Chodshechem, hukshu kol chadoshim kulam zelazeh. All months are compared to the other. So just like all the other Rosh Chodesh, you only blow one musaf. On Rosh Hashanah, you also only blow one musaf, even though it's Rosh Hashanah. Ravashi Amar Ksiv Chod Shechem Uksiv Uveroshei. Chod Shechem is singular, Roshei is plural. Eize chodesh sheyesh lo shnei rashim. Which month has sort of two Yomim Tovim, i.e. Rosh Hashanah and Rosh Chodesh. Haviyom is a Rosh Hashanah. V'amar Achmona Chad Sheichem, which is singular, to teach me Chadi, you only blow for one Musaf.
But it's Roshei Chadshei with a yud. It's plural.
No, Chad Sheichem but it's
Amar Abai Amar Kra, but Roshei Chadshei with a yud. Doesn't that make it plural?
no, because they darshan it Chadashchem, singular. That's a drash of
Okay.
that's a drash that they make, that it's the word B'loshen Yochid Chadashchem teaches me that it's only one Musaf. Weiter. The Od Tanya, I'll bring you another support to this concept that even though there are multiple musafs, you don't blow multiple times. So b'chol shel moed. So b'rishon, first day of chol moed, mayu amrim. What shir? Havel Hashem b'nei elim. B'sheni mayu amrim. U'lerosha amar lokim. B'shlishi mayu amrim. Miyakum li imerei. B'revi mayu amrim. Bina boarim bam. Chamishi mayu amrim. Hasirosimi sechel shichmo. Bashishi, the last day of Chol HaMoed, Ma'yomrim, Yimotu Komos Teoretz. V'imchal Shabbos be'echad mehem, if Chol HaMoed falls on Shabbos, Yimotu Yidoche. You say the Shir of Shabbos, and you don't say the Yimotu. And Rav Safra would keep these, how to remember which shir was done for each day. Monach b'hu simana humvi, right? Hey vav mem beis hey yud, which is a Rosh Tevis for each pasuk. Rav Papa manach b'hu simana humavi, and he had a different order. V'simanach vua de safri, because Rav Safra is Amvua. Amvua is like a caravan. So that's how they would know that he held that it's that order. Again, this seems to be a kasha on Ravacha, because Ravacha says you would blow multiple times for multiple musafs. You'd also be able to read multiple shir shel yoms. The fact that we don't is tiyufta Ravacha Barchanina tiyufta. Freit Gemara of Harav Acha Barchanina Krol Masnisa Komar. How could you knock him out of the box? He brought a pasuk and a baraisa. So Amar Ravina Loimer Shemarichin Betkiyos. You don't blow another set of 9 or 3 tkiyas, but rather you prolong it since it's Rosh Chodesh and Rosh Hashanah, you prolong the length of the blowing. And Rabbanan de Kesar Mishmei Ravacha Amrilom Shamar b'Toikim. You bring many Kohanim to blow the Chatzoitzrois, and that's a sibin that there's multiple musafs. Okay. Now, the Gemara gave us a seder of the Shir Shel Yom in Eretz Yisrael, where there's no Sfeika Diyoima, but Va'anan the Islam Treyoimi, each day of Chol HaMoed, like when we daven, we know, it could be the second day, could be the third day. So how do we fear Tzach and Golus? Hechi Avdinan, Abai Omar, Sheni Yitche. We always speak, we don't, we because Sheni for us is Yom Tov Sheni. In Eretz Yisrael, it's already Chol HaMoed. So we skip over that shir of Sheni. Rav Amar Shvi Yidcha. No, we skip over the last one, the sixth one, Yimotu, on Hoshana Rabbah. And Tani Kavosi de Rav, Imchal Shabbos Lios Be'echad Mehem, Yimotu Yidcha, we get rid of Yimotu, like we said before, which is the one that is said on the last day of Chol HaMoed. Iskina memer benardo, the medagi dilugi. A memar in Nardo gave us the halacha that you should say, for example, b'yom hasheni v'yom hashlishi on each day of Chol Hamoed, like we do. Mishnah. Yom Tov Rishon Shel Chag, Hayu Sham Shloisha Sarpon. First day of Sukkot, they had to offer 13 cows, Elim Shnayim, 2 rams, the Sarech had 16 korbanos. Now, there were 24 Kohanic families. Each one worked a week, and then 24 weeks later, they worked another week. So 48 weeks of the year were covered by the 24 Mishmar families, each one working a week, twice a year. But on Yom Tif, all the Mishmaros were Oile Regel. So 16 of the families were makriv these 16 korbanos. So nishtayru sham arba'as kvasim. Now, if 16 families already were makriv, that leaves 8 families. So we have 14 sheep that have to be makriv by Shmona Mishmaros. The way they did it was b'yom rishon shisha makrivim shnaim shnaim. 6 families did 2, which brings you up to 12, and the remaining family vashar echad echad. Right, the remaining 2 families, each one brought 1 sheep. Now, as we go down the days of Chol Hamoed, there are less korbanos. We start with 13 parim, but then the next day is 12, the next day is 11. So b'sheni, you end up with chamisha families, makrivin shnaim shnaim. 5 do 2 and 2, which is 10. V'hashar echad echad, because there are 4 left. Excuse me, there are 2 left because there's 7 families left because you only have 15 korbanos instead of 16, right? When you had 16, and so 16 minus 24 is 8. But on the second day, you only have 15 korbanos. So that leaves more families to divide up the remainder. So the way they did it was chamisha makrivim shnaim shnaim, which is 10. Vashar echad echad.
Doing the daf here.
Bashlishi arba makrivim shnaim shnaim, 8. Vashar echad echad, 6.
I made the jacuzzi.
4 of the families.
Oh, sorry.
Now you have 8 families left. So you have 4 who do 2, which is 8. And then the remaining 4 do 1, which gives you the 12. Brevi, shloisha makrivim shnaim shnaim. 3 families bring 2, which is 6. And then you have 6 families remaining. Vashar echad echad. B'chamishi, on this 5th day, shnaim makrivim shnaim shnaim. 2 of the remaining families do 2 and 2, which is 4. You're left with 8. Vashar echad echad to bring you up to 12. Bashishi echad makriv shnaim. 1 family brings 2 sheep, and the remaining vashar echad echad. Bashvi, on the 7th day, each family only brings 1 korban, and that would cover all the korbanos. Bishmini, we only bring 1 par, so now they have to do a lottery. Chazru l'payis kivragolim. They go back and do a lottery. Amru mishi yikriv par mayom lo yakriv l'machar. Those that were makriv apart today didn't do one tomorrow. And l'chosrim chalila, to go back to the cycle that we described. So the Gemara says, "Name masnisin Rebbe hi v'lo Rabbana." The Tanya para babishmini, the par that's offered on the Shmini Atzeres, Betchila Mefaisin, they do a lottery. Divrei Rebbe. So the fact that our Mishnah said that on the 8th day they do a lottery must be that our Mishnah is Rebbe. The Chachamim achas b'shtei mishmor lo shilshu b'purim ois noiso. Two of the Mishmars never got a third chance. They only got 2 chances. So one of those families gets to do the par of Shmini Atzeres. So the Gemara wants to say our Mishnah is Rebbe, not the Chachamim. You needed a pious to decide between the 2 remaining families. So Kimanaz La'adatadi, Kol Mishmars Shonos U'Mishalshos. Every Mishmar ended up having 2 or even 3 shots at the parim. Chutz Mishnei Mishmaros. 2 Mishmaros based on the math, Shoynois ve'ein Mishalshlos. Would only get to do 2 sets of parim, not 3. So again, name a Rabbi v'lo Rabbanon. What's the afilu temer Rabbanon? Milo shilshu b'parei hachag. We're just talking about the parim that were brought the chag, but the other korbanos we're not talking about. Umay kamashlan. What's teaching us? What's the chiddush? Kamashlan. Mi sheikriv par mayom lo yakriv l'machar l'chayzim chalila. Whoever brought a par this day would have to bring other korbanos like sheep or rams, but not a par. Rabbi Lazar. If you total up all the pars of Sukkos, there's 70 paros. Hani shivim parim keneged mi. Keneged shivim umos, the 70 nations. Then par yechidi an Shmini Atzeres lama. Keneged uma yechida. That's the unique Klal Yisrael. Moshel melech basar v'dam shomer lavadav. It's like a human king that told his servants, Asuli sugdol, make me a big party. Liyom achron amar lo oyavoy. On the last of the party, he told his best friend, Aseli sudiktana, you make me a small party. Kidei she'enem, I want to benefit directly from you. Amar Rav Yochanan oilem lagoyim she'ibdu ve'en yodim ma she'ibdu. Why is to the goyim who lost, I don't even know what they lost, when they destroyed the Beis Hamikdash. Bisman shemei de midrash kayim mizbech b'chapra alein. These parim that were offered on Sukkos were mechaper for the rest of the nations. Achshav mechaper alein, now they don't have kapara for them because the Beis Hamikdash was destroyed, and they don't even know what they lost. B'shloisha prokim b'shana you call mishmaros shavos. 3 times a year, the mishmaros came together and they were all equal. Be'muria regalim, that which was divided up korbanos during Yom Tov. Uvechiluk lechem apanim, when if Shabbos ended up in a Yom Tov and they were all there, so they would divide the lechem apanim. And Batzer, Bimur Agolim, Chiluk Lechem Aponim, Batzeres, and Shvuas, by the Shtei Lechem. Oimer lo hilich matzah hilich chometz. If Shvuas fell on Shabbos, they would hand out Lechem Aponim, Lechem Aponim was made out of matzah, and the Shtei Lechem was made out of chometz. So they would say, here, take matzah, take chometz. Mishmar shezmano kavua. Let's say Sukkot falls during the week when a certain mishmar, that was its week to be there. So mishmar shezmano kavua makriv tmidim. They were makriv the korban tamid of every day of the Yom Tov. However, nedarim and nedavos, these are donative shlomim and oilos, that individual Jews, since they knew they were coming to the Beis Hamikdash oile regel, they brought the various donative gifts they had made, and they offered then. So the nedarim nedavos ushar kabonas tzibur, and the, for example, the korban musafs, makrivin esakol. The other kohanim would get to share in those.
Did we learn before that the people that bring in the dollars can give it to whoever, any coin they wanted to? Even those people that
This is
they're
talking
not
about,
administrative?
talking about on Yom Tov. This is talking about on Yom Tov. We're not talking about the rest of the year when that was practiced. This Mishnah is telling us how they divided up when a certain family had that week and Yom Tov falls in that week. How do they deal with it?
So if they brought in,
So
if
those
they brought
things that
with
were not
the
brought,
dollars on their own,
those things that were not brought for the Yom Tov, right, were brought by that family. But the Nedavois, the people were donating a whole year. They're just mocking them now. Also, the other Mishmoros were not Zoicha. They only were Zoicha in things that were related to the Yom Tov. Only the Choyvois Shemach Masaregel did the other families get to benefit from. Now, the Gemara analyzes the Mishnah and says, what do you mean a murei harigolim? Now, a murim usually refers to the innards. Now, the innards are not eaten. The innards, the fats and everything are offered on the Mizbech. So what do you mean the Kohanim share in the emurim? Shal gavoninu. On Rav Chisda Mashamer Bergolim. We're talking about that which was offered korbanos during the regolim that the Kohanim eat. There, the Kohanim could share. Ton Rabbanon. Minayin shekol mishmor shavos be'mur regolim. How do we know that all the various mishmoros that arrived on the regel could share in those things that were offered machmas haregel? Talmud loymar uva b'chol avas nafsho b'sheireis. He comes with whatever he wants and he does the service. Maybe he can show up anytime, even the rest of the year. Talmud loymar me'achad sharecha. Lo amarti ela b'shar shekol Yisrael nichnosim b'sharecha. I only told you Kohanic families that you could share in everything only when all of Klal Yisrael walk in through one gate. When is that? That's on Yom Tov. But the rest of the time, the mishmar of that week gets to be zoicha in that. Then in the Mishnah says b'chiluk lechem haponim. Ton Rabban. Minayin shekol mishmar Shabbos b'chiluk lechem haponim. That when Shabbos fell on that Yom Tov, all the mishmars could share in the lechem haponim. Talmud loymar. Now we're on Nun Vav Amud Aleph.
Hold on.